So today we're going to be talking about how to file a trademark via USPTO, the right way to file a trademark. This is without an attorney, without spending additional money. You can do this yourself. So many of you may just be filing a trademark to file a trademark, right? You might be thinking of having a brand or whatever that may be, but I think a lot of you are actually Amazon sellers based on our subscriber base, and you might be thinking about brand registering, right? So brand registry might be in your future, and this is a key component. You need to have a trademark product. So what we're going to do today is we're actually going to go through the trademark process together, click by click. So first what you're going to do is you're going to navigate to uspto.gov. Now be careful, guys, because if you just Google USPTO, you're going to get all kinds of results. So, or if you just put in USPTO and might type in .com, you're going to end up at a scam website. If you type in .org, you'll end up at a scam website. So be really careful. The actual address is going to be right here, uspto.gov. So the first thing you're going to do is actually set up an account, right? So I'm not going to go through that process because there's a lot of personal information when you actually set up the account, but it's pretty simple how to set up an account. It does involve some authentication. They use ID.me, so you're gonna have to send them a copy of your driver's license front and back and a selfie to actually identify that it is actually you to set up the account. So the first thing after that, you're gonna click on trademarks once you're actually in the website, and you're going to search trademarks, okay? So you wanna search your actual trademark to make sure that nobody else currently has it, because if they do, you're wasting your time and you need to go find another name. You wanna do a basic word search, okay? And type in whatever you're trying to do. So in this case here, ours is called Little White Box. Okay, here, and here it says, no TESS records were found to match the criteria of our query, so that means that this trademark is likely available. Now, this doesn't mean it's gonna go through necessarily, it just means it's available, right? And in some cases, it might even show you like old trademarks, so say if something expired, it'll tell you when it expired. So if it isn't available, it'll show you, but be careful. Sometimes it'll fill in showing that the trademark might look like it's not available, but look, because it actually might be an expired trademark. That could be the case, right? That does happen from time to time. Actually, never mind, that happens quite often. So basically, once you've checked, right, you've done the basics, the next step of what you want to do is you actually want to go ahead and get the URL. So go and do a website, get a website bought, because I don't know why, okay, I can't explain it, I'm not going to spread fake news, but for some reason when you put in a name here in USPTO and then a couple days later you go to like GoDaddy or something to go buy the URL, all of a sudden somebody bought it, some broker bought it, and it's like $70 or something, right? I've seen this many times. So now what we do is as soon as we look it up on USPTO, we go ahead and buy the URL. This way you know you at least have the website. Usually it's like 99 cents, right? So you're able to get it for basically almost nothing. Even if you don't intend on using the website, just get it. It just makes sense. Okay, so after you do that, you're gonna go back to apply online. So trademarks, and you're gonna go to apply online. So here there's like a bunch of forms, right? So you have your initial application forms, response forms, intent to use, like all these other forms down here. This is after you submit your trademark, right? So what'll happen is you submit the trademark and then they'll get back to you, right? So they'll either call you via phone or email, and they might want to see some additional documentation. So if they basically tell you, hey, we need this form, whatever form it may be, you want to come back to this page and go ahead and find that specific form that they're actually looking for. So if you look here, you'll see the trademark initial application form, right? There's two versions. There's a TES Plus. So this filing option has more requirements up front, but it's cheaper, and it's actually easier. And then you have the standard, which has less requirements up front, but long-term, they're actually gonna need more information and it costs more money. It's a more manual process. So you wanna do a simpler process. So if you're ready to apply, you're gonna go right here and you're gonna start your application. And now here we are. So this is your trademark electronic application system, right? So this is the form that you're actually going to need to fill out. So basically it's just step by step. See here, TAS Plus, $250 versus TAS Standard, which is $350. So I recommend you pick the top choice. The next one is an attorney filing this application? No, I am not an attorney. Okay, and then here is where you can basically upload any previous application forms you may have had. I don't have a previous form, so I'm not going to do that, but right here you could choose a file and upload that form. Okay, now this brings you to the main page, right? So owner of mark. So what I'm actually going to be doing here is I'm actually going to be putting the word mark under an LLC I have and not personally under my name. The next step is what you're going to do is you're going to actually choose your entity type, and in my case it's a limited liability corporation or LLC. Okay, here it's going to ask for the state that it's registered in. So in this step here, so what you're essentially going to do is it's going to ask you if you're a US company, it's just going to ask for the state. Or if it's a non-US company, then you can put in the country, right? So basically all you need to do is go ahead and put in your state in this box here. Okay. Internal address, that's not required. I'm going to leave that alone. Mailing address. So basically they need this address to basically confirm, right, that there's a physical location. You need not necessarily a storefront, but you need a physical address in the US to actually apply for the trademark. If you don't, then you can actually go to a trademark attorney and you can get someone here to represent you, right? Where you could still apply for trademark if you're out of the country, right? But here you have to, essentially if you have it, you're just putting in your address, right? So we're gonna put this in here. Okay, so you're gonna fill this in. Okay, so the next step, what you're gonna be doing is, okay, so here you see United States, phone number. I really recommend you put your phone number in here. It's not required, so all these fields aren't required. You'll see whatever has a red asterisk is required, but I really recommend that you do put in an actual phone number because they might actually call you. Give them every opportunity you can to contact you. This way, if there's a problem, they can get in contact with you pretty quickly. Next is the email address. So this is whatever email address you might have initially made your account under. I really recommend you go ahead and use that email address. So once all that's filled in, you're gonna go ahead and just click continue. Okay, so now basically where we're at is you wanna enter, you basically give them your trademark, right? Whatever it's actually gonna be. So you fill it in here. Also guys, if it's gonna be a word mark, make sure you pay attention if it's case sensitive or not. So if you want capital letters in certain places, make sure you do that because it might not necessarily matter if you're, let's say, fighting the trademark, if somebody violates your trademark in court or something like that. But as far as Amazon brand registry goes, it needs to match perfectly. So essentially you wanna really pay attention to the case sensitivity because you will be using this in other places, including in Amazon, when you're actually brand registering the product, and it needs to match up perfectly. So if you have something a certain way here, that's the way it's going to be on Amazon as well because it needs to match all your documentation from the USPTO. So do keep that in mind and be careful. Don't rush through the step, or not just rush through the step, but be cognizant of what it looks like because that's what it's going to look like on Amazon when it's all said and done. And by the way, guys, we have another video planned about brand registry, getting your product brand registered on Amazon. The process just changed and we have an updated video in the works. So it might not be a bad idea to subscribe. This way you don't miss that video in the future. Okay, so after you go ahead and fill in the little white box, not little white box, whatever your brand name is, right? So whenever you go ahead and fill in your brand name, you're gonna click preview so you can see what it looks like. Cool. The box below it, so this additional statement, this is basically if you had a prior claim to the trademark. I'm assuming you don't, so we're not gonna go through that process. I don't need it. I'm actually really making this trademark today, guys, so I'm just gonna move ahead. Okay, so then essentially you end up on this screen here, and this is where you add your goods or services, right? So this is what you'll be selling. What are you trying to trademark? So for our purposes today, we're gonna type in coffee. Surprise, surprise. Okay, so I'm gonna go for, let's see, there's coffee, coffee, coffee. So there's coffee and substitutes. I am going to just do plain coffee, which is 030 product class. And then you click on insert checked entities. Okay, and you'll see right here, international class 030, coffee. Okay, and then you're gonna have a couple different options where you're gonna actually have to attach specimens. Now, what that basically means is you're gonna have to show them that this product is being used someplace, right? You have a logo, you have your brand on a specific product. So most of you might have something like this, but it could look like this. Okay, so now that we have our specimen, right, we have what we need, there's a couple different things here. So if you're actually using the word mark in Commerce Now, no use of word mark yet. I'm intending to use it. Foreign application exists, so that means maybe it's overseas trademark, something like that. And then foreign registration, that means you've already registered it someplace else, right? So for us, we're gonna be using section 1B, no use of trademark yet, or intending to use. So we're gonna attach our specimen here. So I'm gonna choose a file. Okay, files here, we're gonna attach it. Okay, it's attached, so now we're gonna return to the form. Okay, description of specimen. So basically gonna put in word mark for our new brand called Little White Box that happens to come in a little white box. Okay, so I'm not gonna actually put web page specimens in because we don't actually have a web page yet, and there's no reason to confuse them any more than they had to. So here they're basically asking you when the trademark was used the first time anywhere, or the first time used in commerce, right? So what I actually do is I'm gonna put in like a date in the past, because I honestly don't know. Okay, and okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and click on Assign Filing Basis. Okay, so after you click on Assign Filing Basis, it's gonna bring you to this screen here. The next question is, check here to appoint U.S. licensed attorney to file form on behalf of applicant owner. So we're actually not gonna do that, we're gonna leave that alone. You'll go back here, you'll see your company name. It'll ask you for docket or reference number. I don't have one. And then it's gonna ask you for your email address again. That's basically if you wanna send courtesy copies, like a secondary email. So you have a partner and you wanna send them an email as well. You can go ahead and fill that in here. So then your next step would be just to continue. Okay, so basically after clicking forward, you're gonna end up seeing this page here. It's basically telling you you're going for one class. This is the class 030, that's what I'm going for. Fee per class, $250. And then here you're basically, this is the declaration, so you basically have to click and confirm. So you can go ahead and screenshot this if you want to read all these lines. I already read them, so like I'm not concerned with it. You're basically confirming that the information you're providing is true. That's at the end of the day what it's telling you. Right, so you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna click these here. This last one's pretty interesting though. Being warned that willful false statements and like are punishable by a fine or imprisonment. So be very careful here, guys. Make sure you don't lie to the USPTO. Okay, so now after clicking the box, you can do is you're gonna go ahead to the signature line. Don't ask me why, but they wanna see slashes. So it's a forward slash in the beginning and in the end of your name. So that's just what you do. And then you can go ahead and put in your name. Okay, then your position. One day I'm just gonna write in Big Boss Man, but right now we have to write in CEO just to make that proper, otherwise they might not find it so funny. So after you do that, you're gonna go ahead and validate. Okay, then after validating, it's gonna bring you to the screen here. So here it's important, right here on Friday, October 7th, we went ahead and completed the mandatory fields successfully and validated the form. But it also tells you it has not yet been filed with the USPTO. So now you need to follow these steps here. If you look here, you could see your input, your mark, your specimen, right? So then it'll bring you to this page here. It's basically telling you that you're almost done, by the way. So you've completed the fields, but it's also warning you that just because you completed the fields, this actually hasn't been filed yet. So step one is to review the application with the data, the various inputs below through the hyperlinks, right? So you want to go ahead and just review everything again, right? Or not, but I think you should, right? So you just want to click through everything. So this is all the stuff that you uploaded before, right? So there's your word mark, the specimen. We never uploaded an XML file, and this is essentially your text form, right? So all the stuff that you click, so this is what it's going to look like. This is what the filing is going to look like when they get it. So after that step, if you wanted to, you can go ahead and save the form. It'll actually download to your computer. I don't think you have to, but you can if you want to. And then the next step after that is to go ahead and pay and submit. So at the payment page, basically you have your required fields here. They take credit and debit cards. We'll be right back. Okay, now that we've put away our credit card, this is the screen that you're gonna essentially see, and it's basically telling you all good. What's next? They basically tell you it's gonna take a couple months. You're gonna review it. There could be some back and forth. They say 3 months here. It could take a lot longer than that, but right now what you could do is you can actually get your trademark status and document retrieval right here. So what you can do next is you can actually check the status of your document, because let's say you're going to be using this information for Amazon brand registry. That's the first document that you're going to actually need. Spoiler, you don't need the actual trademark, but you'll need that initial document. So I would just basically click on that and save the link and check back there in a couple days, maybe in a week. This way it gives them a little bit of time to put it in the system, and then you can go ahead and you can check it. Right now it's not there, but save the link, so copy the link so you could just keep checking back here so you don't actually have to dig through the whole website. Guys, I hope today was beneficial. I tried to simplify a rather complicated process as much as possible. Realistically, it's going to be complicated because this is a US government website, so obviously anything to do with government websites will be complex and will be kind of, outdated. So really your next step here is just to kind of keep checking on it, and then you can go ahead and get that form that you need for your initial brand registry with Amazon. If you are interested in Amazon brand registry, which I think a lot of you are, make sure to stop back by in a couple weeks. We'll have another video out specifically about that. Remember, the process just changed, so it's going to be a little different of what's already out there. So for 2023, it's a new process. If you guys have any questions about what I covered today, please do comment down below.